Mitt namn är Maria Myhr och jag jobbar på Filmidolarna som mediepedagog och jobbar med sånt här också. Now I'm going to switch into English so that Parvin can understand us all. And if there's anyone, you all know this will be held in English, I hope. It says so in the program. If any of you has trouble understanding something, just give me a holler and I'll try to explain it in Swedish. And what I just said is that I'm Maria Myhr and I work at Filmidolarna as a I tell teachers to use movies in school in their education. Short. So I say welcome to you, Parvin Ardalan. That's it. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about you. Tomas has already done that. You are a women's rights activist from Iran. That's true. Journalist and writer. Co-founder of 1 million signature campaign for equal rights in Iran. Honorary member of Swedish PEN. And I have to ask you, what is PEN? Can you please explain that to me? Yes, please explain it. You will have a microphone.
Do you want a full lecture or just... Yeah, it's a worldwide organization for writers who defends writers and freedom of speech, and we are present in 130 countries or something like that. And everybody who wants to know anything else can come to me.
Very short and nice. Great, thanks. Continue with my list here. You're also a board member of ICORN, International Cities of Refugee Network. Guest writer of Malmö City, fristadsförfattare. What does that mean? That you're guest writer for Malmö?
Yes, I was in.
Use the microphone, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
Yeah,
She's.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, as a writer, I was invited by Malmö City, and for 2 years. So it's finished. And for 2 years, I was as a guest writer of the city, and I tried to make some collaboration work with cultural places, journalists, and also newspaper. So it's a kind of project that they let the writers to stay for at least 2 years in some different countries and cities that they are well known as the free cities. That in this means that they have. They are safe and they can use this opportunity for working and life and everything. Most of the time it's for the writers that they are under dangerous. Yeah.
Okay. And now since March you have permanent residency in Sweden. Yeah. Parvin has also received the Olof Palme Award in 2007. The Reporters Without Borders Netizen Prize 2009. Hellman and Hammett Award 2010 and Ramon Rubial, is that correct pronunciation? Award in 2010. That was Parvin. And Tomas, you all know Tomas, he's working here at Högskolan Dalarna as what are you? You're a lecturer and you're a science, what do you call it? Forskare, herrejösses. I can't find the English
scholar
word.
of religion and film.
Yes.
In the crossroad between religious studies and media studies.
Doctor.
Yes.
You are too.
Yes.
Not the.
But why I'm sitting here in this chair now is maybe because for many years I spent 1 year on the West Bank and I followed the Middle East. The conflict between the West and the Middle East since then. So
you're an expert too.
No. Parvin is the expert. I will support Parvin with some short comments only.
That will be great. This will be interesting. So let's get on with the real issue here. The movie that we just have seen, Nader and Semin, A Separation. And I would like to, each and every one of you can give us about 10 minutes to talk about your reflections about this movie. What caught your eyes and ears, and what made you think your thoughts begin to swirl around in your head. Please, Parvin.
Okay. Of course, the film has some different points that I can emphasize on it, but I try to just focus on some of them, and then if there are any questions, then we can continue to each other. At the beginning, if you see the film is in Farsi, we say that the separation, the nader from simin. It means that who is the persons that wanted to separate. In the film, you see that simin wanted to separate with nader, but in the meaning that the separation is from nader from simin. So it's maybe it's not a mistake, because in reality she wants to separate, but who has the power of separation in the family is nader. So this is maybe is one of the most important discourse of the exists in the film also, because in my opinion, I'm not a critic, but I'm a women rights activist and also journalist in Iran, and I'm a bit familiar with the situation in Iran. So if I wanted to start from this point, it means that with film we will see how is the power structure in the society and in some institutions like family institution, and also in the society in a different level, political level and economic level and everything. So this is one of the important things that I think that film wanted to tell us, and how we should see this kind of power structure. The one of them is that when we are talking, I don't know, when you saw the film, how did you felt? I would like to know about that. But the one of the things that film shows us is that the women in Iran doesn't have so much right. This is something that for me as a feminist activist and other friends had worked so much with under some different debate, feminist debate also in a society, and we had paid so much. But there's something that was interesting in one hand was that in the film you can see that in daily news, in daily life you see that women, you will face with the women that they don't have any right in their life. For example, they don't have any right for separation. They don't have right to have a occupation, because you see that the man wants to if he knows that, for example, we will see that the one of them, Razia, wanted to work, and she doesn't tell to her husband, because if he knows, he doesn't let her to go. And Simin wanted to separate from Nader, but Simin cannot do this because Nader should accept this separation. Simin wants to have the child with herself, but is this power also is with Nader, because in Iran the head of the family and who has the power to keep the children is father. If they don't let, so women doesn't have any right. And so it means that there's something that we will see. It's exactly to show that how is the situation of women in Iran, and how this situation has so much conflict in the family and in the society. And the other things that so we will see that this structure, this patriarchal structure in the family, and the role of the man in the society, in the family, is how is important. And when we come a bit further, so we will see that even in a society, Simin said that I want to separate and I want to go and I want to leave, but the judge said that you go back to your life. This is some advice from the judge in Iran. And most of the time, if you don't have any right, so you don't have any right. And it's very natural. And the other things is that another point that it shows that sometimes many women and many people that had seen the film, so they thought it's very natural. Yes, sometimes it's very natural. When we see in Iran this film, when we see that this is some kind of daily life that we are faced all the time with that. And it shows that how the suppression in Iran and how some kind of suppression, you will get used to this life and you think that everything is natural. I have asked some of the film people that they had seen the film. So even in Iranian, they didn't think about that, how women doesn't have any right, because they thought that it is natural. It's natural that you don't have right. And it is natural that you don't care about that. But it's not natural when you have resistance against that. It's not natural when you want to be against this thing. It's not natural if, as a woman, want to live this kind of life, and then everybody wants to judge you and to ask you that what are you doing and why you should do that, why you should leave the family, everything like that. So it is some kind of power structure in the family that I wanted to mention. But in other things, when we are going to the other points, so we see this separation between another and Simin is just not a separation between two persons. It's just between the two sex, to for example, to attitude of life, to style of life. Two persons that one of them wanted to go further and to want to change everything, and the other one that doesn't want to do and then want to keep everything. One of some maybe separation between some radical idea, right? Radical persons that wanted to respect her life and to change her life, but with a patriarchal structure that they wanted to keep the power of men and then the power of the political power in the society in one by controlling the family. So, but when we will go a little bit further, so we will see that this kind of power structure doesn't mean that just between the men and women, even between the two men, when you are looking at them, so you can see one of them, because of education, he has much more power than the others. Because of the money or class, upper class has so much power on the other. So this kind of power structure, even between the two men, exists in the society that we are living. And also between the two women, both of them has similar situation. Both of them doesn't have right, but both of them are different, and then they wanted to challenge for their family and for their husband and for everything, so they are against, also they are in opposite of each other, and they try to change something. One of them wanted to change, and one of them has some religious idea, but not depend on the religious, but also is some kind of idea that's in the, for example, a structure of the religion structure in a society in Iran, that they want to keep everything as the traditional and religion traditional, not to let the women move or work or do something. These are some points that it shows that how is this structure of power or exist in the society. And of course, the other things that we will see in the film is what is the image of the others of some countries like Iran. There's something that I think is different with the other films. Of course, you see two things when you see this image: women and men, different classes, different, for example, middle class or down class or everything, something like that. But it doesn't mean that it's some, like most of the films that sometimes we will see or we heard about, that is that this image is black and white. You see the film and you see both of them, both of this character and different characters, but it's very difficult to judge which one is right or which one is not right. So I think that one of the good effort of Farhadi in this film was that try to not to slogan so much, but try to give gray images of the society, that how in this patriarchal structure we will see that most of them are under the pressure, and how they are try to lie to each other, how they are to pass through some different moral that they think that they should be obeyed, but they can pass the moral because they wanted to, because of the benefit they want to change, and they have to lie to each other. So these kind of pictures, of course, some of them is especially happens in Iran, but I think is universal. So the one of the more important things of the role, in my opinion, is that this to emphasize these gray images of the people. Then you cannot see both of them, for example, black and white people. You cannot see women also. They don't have any right, but they are not victim. Most of the stereotype images that we will see from the West about the East, that women are victim and so we have to help them. No, you see it in the family. Both of these women, even in different classes, they don't have right, but they are try to find different way. They are agents in their life, and they wanted to struggle with the situation that they are existing in. So it means that these images, I think, has changed some of this stereotype in the mind that yes, women, they are only in East or in the Middle East country, all of them are a victim. No, I think that the true images that we saw in the film, it shows that they are victim, but they are a struggle for their changing. That is one of the important things that I think is important. And
I was
yeah,
thinking
I'm just
to
thinking
hand over
more than
word.
10 minutes. Yes,
Did you want a
no,
finishing?
I can.
I really
add
like
if
that
there's-
interesting thought that
Yeah.
they don't have rights, but they're not automatically victims. Probably talk more about it. So, Tomas, your point of view.
Yes, my point of view is from my my situation actually as a Westerner living in Sweden as a male film viewer. So I will bring forth some of my impressions from this film, which I've seen it twice, and it's a really powerful film, complex, with nuances, the grayscale as you put forward here, and I think that is remarkable by the Ashgar Farhadi. But I think my impression is that it's about negotiation. You have already outlined this space, this closed space for these agents, the women as agents, how they treat with a limited space. We have Simin, we have her daughter Terme, we have Razia, the woman which is religious, and her daughter Sumaya. And then we have the men, as you have said, that which also is in a class conflict. So you have this above and below. And for me, I was surprised because when I have been following the situation in the Middle East, my guess was that Iran would start the revolution, the Green Revolution, and which now became the Arab Spring back in 2009 when the election were closing, and I guessed that Iran would change for a more free choice, to make a choice in a free way, but that didn't happen at that time. So I was really surprised and curious about this film, how to give to have an image of everyday life in a complex and situation with tension. What I learned most from the middle class family, actually. The man and the woman, well educated, not religious, not very religious, and how they also treated the gap between themselves and this religious, not educated couple, and how they also managed to, in a clever or cunning or manipulative way, use their religiosity at the end. And that brings me to the other, because it was several scenes when people tried to hide the children from what was going on. Please leave the room. You go out, close the door, and then we we talk. But it was obvious that the children, they could listen, they could overhear what was said, but it was like a ritual. Just leave the room, close the door, you're out there, and we will talk serious business now. So for me, it was an interesting, a complex image of negotiation of truth. Who has the truth? Is it a truth related to the judge, truth related to the Quran, which was crucial at the end? And most important, in my view, was truth related to the two children present with big eyes, looking on the adult world. And I think it was also important that it was two young women, two girls, one young girl and one elder girl, and they looked on the women and the men with open eyes and tried to understand what is going on. How is the codes created here? What is the space for me? As the young Sumaya, she watched with this very big eyes on what, and of course she understood that something is happening, something bad is happening to her mother. And Terme, she tried to find her space, and I would like you to talk much more about this, how the socialization of cultural codes transmits from one generation to the next in this film, and how Ashkar Farhudi, the director, he pinpoints visually with their faces how they deal with this limited space. I think that created a strong emotional impact to see these girls. And it was one scene when they met, they faced each others in a long take with the, I think that glimpse into each other's eyes were filled with meaning when they realized something. I don't know if it was something hope or something of a sad reality. It was difficult to tell, actually. But that's, for me, it was one of the strengths of this film, that it was so balanced, nuanced, complex about culture codes. And also, and you have to explain this for me, because it was obvious that everyone knew that you had to negotiate with truth. And I didn't realize that Nader, the man who was charged by being guilty of the pregnant woman miscarriage, I didn't realize that he had overheard that she was pregnant until he was approached by his own daughter. And at that point, he couldn't lie. He could lie against the judge. He could lie against the law. The legal system was manipulative. You could manipulate with the legal system, but you cannot, and I like that in the movie, you cannot lie towards your own child. When she puts the question, you have to rely. You have to respond with truth. And that gives a moral dimension, I think, in this film that goes beyond this cultural situation. But it's embedded in a complex, and you have to explain more about this for us, because when you live in a if it's okay to label Iran as like a theocracy, that you live with a normative system which forces people to behave, but you also have a space to negotiate. The judge and the people, they relate to power in different ways. But of course, when you live under that circumstance, you know that everyone has to treat reality, to treat truth with compromises. And that strikes me very much living in in a society where we at least formally talk that you shouldn't lie. The democracy is a dynamic societal process where we say almost how things are. But in this situation, it's cultural, and you have to educate me here. Is it? You get my point, I guess. So some questions more than to you actually, because I'm curious how you treat these.
Yeah, he's done.
I'm not a director, but I can just say my opinion as an audience. I want to point about the children in the family. So in this structure, I think that both of them are girls and both of them at different ages. So none of them has right. And both of them, they have to see that what's happened in the family and they just observe. This is a kind of experience that I myself had. Many children like me during that age had, because the role of the family is important, and the role of the father and the father is very important, and then you have to just see yourself in this structure and how is it. So you see in this family, both of them exactly doesn't have right. But when I say doesn't have right, it doesn't mean that the children in nowadays in Iranian family, they don't have right, they cannot do anything. But when I wanted to just look at this structure, I'm just mean that this thing. So both of them are just observer. When you are observer, so it means that you don't have any role in the family. So you have to see that what's happened. And unfortunately, I'm not disagree if I get your idea about the debate between the girls and the father and mother. And I had this experience so much because I remember that I had so much problem with my mother and my father. And my father would say that I'm because of you, I'm not trying to continue. And then my mother said, because of you, I'm just trying to stay in this situation. And all the time I was hating of myself. Said, okay, just let go and then let me alone, because it's something that in these structures, especially, you don't have any role as a children, but then they made you responsible, and then you made you decide what they want. He is not very honest with her daughter. He just would say that we just threw the ball in their play. So it means that okay, if because of you I have to say lie, so my lie is not real. I didn't want to do, because of you I did, and because of you I wanted to stay in prison. And then the girl had to say to the judge another lie, because of her he was responsible and he has to obey him. So I think that in this way, especially in Iranian society, I'm not in how is it in this situation, but in this way, so it means that we are like a victim, that we are also guilty. We have to. You are responsible for you haven't done anything. So this structure is not just in the family; is in the situation. They arrest us why you are, for example, asking for equal right. And so your activity is against the national security, so you have to go to prison. But they don't say that why we don't have right. So this is something that I think that in this structure, that is just some symbol of the whole structure of the society. The role of the children, women, and also even men in this patriarchal and ideological societies, not in a humanistic way. And that the role of the religion is very important. You know, Iran situation is the religious, most of the people are Muslim. But unfortunately, we have other religion in Iran that they are forbidden for many work. We have now many Baha'is that they are in prison. So it doesn't mean that the religion is important. No, the religion is in the power is important and has role and has a role of control. So it means that the religion is in the policy. Religion is not separate from the government, is not separate from the politics. Is the mixing of these things when it comes to your life, so it's dangerous. In the natural way, when you're traditional, for example, Muslim or other religion that you have, so it is okay. But when you think that this debate help you to work, so it's another things. It helps you to talk with the judge. It helps you to use it for dominant other people. So this way of using of religion, I think, is dangerous. Why? Most of the people, women, that they are religious in their society, so it's okay. But when this idea comes to your mind, okay, you have to obey the religion. We had something like that. I was in the court that I said, okay, we want to have a right of divorce. They said, this is in the religion, so we cannot do anything. I said, okay, why we cannot? I'm respect to many religion, but I don't want to agree with any patriarchal points in the religion. So I'm against these points, and we wanted to change this thing. So when you come to this process, they push you that every criticize and every critic that you have against this dominant structure on inequality structure is against the religion. So if you don't say this, so you are a good person and something. So it doesn't let you to say your idea or express your idea or express your demand, because you have to be a religious person. This is I think the one of the most conflict that we have in the society. But nowadays this is going to change.
Speaking of
I don't know, I answered.
the religion here and women who has the same rights as the men, still, we used to pat ourselves on the back here in Sweden, saying we're one of the most equal countries in the world. Still, we haven't had one single female prime minister yet, which has happened in country. Iran has one, right? Or at least had one?
Yeah, just one, but...
Yeah, at least that's one. And I know it's a couple of countries
Minister,
in Africa.
Minister.
Yes,
Yeah.
prime minister. And a couple of countries in Africa has female presidents, and everywhere it pops up in countries that you see, what? That's not going to happen. They have no rights there. Could it be that we see in this movie that Nader says, "You're a coward," to Sumin, because she wants to run away, and she says he's stubborn because he stays with his father. And normally, well, around here, maybe it's the father who leaves the family, and the mother is bound to traditions. Is it the other way around that makes it possible for women to actually, well, do what you are doing, fight for your rights and to gain the political power? Is that because you don't have it, so you have something to fight for? Is it harder for men to do the same?
Oh, it's happened and not happened, didn't happen. So when I'm focusing this right that you see that Farhadi has focused on, it is just the civil right that women has, the family right, something that now exists in the right. So you are demand for equal right, but the political right is completely different. When you look at the Iran society, as you see the film, that is a very hierarchical film, that from the start, from the sick man, and then children, and women, men, and just you are coming upper, and then different classes. Then you see that who has on the top of the power, and who can decide. Why, for example, the persons like Nader cannot negotiate so much, because he knows that he is right. So, but in the dawn, everybody tries to discuss and they try to find the solution because they are wanted to change. But who is on the top doesn't want any changes, so they want to keep the power. This is the something like that. And in political structure is like that. In political structure is very hierarchical, you know, and we see that we don't have any political parties, and we have parliament. Women can come to the parliament. Nowadays, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they made another minister as a propaganda things. But in the other level, we have different hierarchical levels. After parliament, we have a guardian council, and then we have executive council. We have another council that they are depending on the leader, and we have leader. From this level, no women can go. No, this is not for women. And not only secular and non-religious or every other women, but also religious people cannot go. So it means that in this structure, also you don't have any right to go up. So it doesn't mean that they can struggle for their right. No, they have to change this different level.
Thank you. That was nice that you offered me first. I wonder a thing about the young girl. She has a choice. Is it a real choice? I think about it as a legal choice and as a psychological choice and an ethic choice, because she's so very mature. She's taking responsibility. She is all the time she's trying to convince her parents what to do the right thing, and she tries in very many ways, and they don't want to listen. They are very stubborn, both of them, I think. And if they are in parallel roads at the beginning, they start to go in different directions even more. But does she really have a real choice? That's my question.
Yes, according to the law, the children until 7 years, they can, of course, the girls are 9 and the boys on 7, they were changing. And they have rights after that to decide. Before it was not like that. It was the role of the father to decide. But after that, they can ask the girls and boys that, do you like to stay to be with your mother or with your father? So in the some time, at that time that you saw the girl that she was in the court, yes, she had the choice to choose which one she wants to live. But it's something
and the
that's
court
important.
will respect that choice.
What?
If she says, I want to go with my father, then that will be respected, her will.
No, as you saw that her mother told to the father that she wants to stay with you because she knows that I don't want to leave her, and it means that who has the power in this situation?
Yeah.
Father has.
You have a guess how she responds at the end? We never know.
No, we never know. No, but you see that all of them has a dark black dress. So I don't know that it means that the father has died or not. But still they are coming for separation. So it means that the role of the father that the mother was trying to say as a reason, so it doesn't work in this time.
But do you mean the ethical choice before she decides to lie or not, Birgitta?
No, I meant the last choice.
Okay. The last choice. And then also she wanted to show that I want to stay with both of them. But it means that she couldn't do this. She couldn't also, she chose father, but she thought that the mother come. But it means that no, it didn't happen. So still mother want to separate. So it was a time that she didn't have any solution. So but then you'd want to stay with both of them.
So we have one question here, and then
yes, we were talking about free choice here. And at the beginning of the movie, and still, frankly, I was quite disturbed by the fact that this chain of tragedy was set in motion by the wife, Simin. Actually, she was portrayed at the beginning of the film, at least, as a very stubborn person who just wanted to follow her own will, and that led to a lot of tragic conclusions. I mean, like Nader had a hard time leaving his father and so on. So she had, at least in theory, a free choice at the beginning of the movie, and she used it to set this series of tragedies in motion. But then at the end, Nader has a free choice, actually, when he asks this poor woman to swear on the Quran that it's actually his fault that all this has happened. So there are two moments of really free choice in this movie. And I was disturbed by the portrait of Simin at the beginning, that her stubbornness was the problem, so to speak. But then at the end, I'm not quite sure how to understand the way that Nader uses his free will at the end. I would like you to comment on that, please.
It's a difficult question, really. It's some kind of emotional things. But as an image, when you don't have right, so you have to shout and ask and debate much more than the others. And in some of the family, when you go to the court, you see that women is more aggressive than men. And then for the audience that they are in the court and everything, so you think that, oh, my poor man. Yes, this is comes to your mind all the time. And the one of the reason is that when you don't have rights, you have to shout so much and you have to ask so much, so you will see like that. And it was a real image of Simin. It's nothing like that. But another question, I didn't get it.
The way that Nader uses his free will at the end to construct an even more tragic solution. I mean, they were actually sort of arriving at the solution. Everybody could go away and be more or less happy. But he chose to sort of use his free will to complicate matters even further. And I thought that was a bit hard to understand.
Yeah,
because
maybe
I thought
you can
no, but I was pondering about the same situation. Why did he ask for the Quran? Why did he push the situation to that limit? Did he he had a suspicion that she was lying about this, and he wanted her because he knew that she was religious, and he could test her by bringing forth the Quran.
No,
she could
this
swear.
is okay.
Was it a manipulative thing on a high-level game, or was it? I have the same question. What was going on there in that kitchen at the end?
This is something that is in the Iranian society, that Quran is holy things. So I think that something that I got, it means that it doesn't mean that for example, upper class or middle class are not religious, the other are. It means that this mind exists in most of the people in the different classes. So it's something that they think that when you come to Quran, so you don't lie. So the level of to say right is Quran. So
An absolute level of truth speaking.
this is the.
It was interesting because she was afraid of God punishing her. She had doubt. And it was also, you didn't really understand, you could imagine that if she lies now, she puts her child in danger because God will punish her with this lie. Her daughter's life will be threatened.
Yeah, this is some belief that exists in the society, and most of the time in the belief that it's very increased by the authority in Iran.
But did Nader know that these processes was going on in Razia's head?
Yeah.
He knew?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Probably. And it was the last weapon he could grasp actually. So.
First, just a short comment about the girl's choice in the end. If we should have the same situation in Sweden, that my wife would divorce me and go abroad, the court would, of course, decide that the child or children will stay with me because she's going to go abroad. A child in Sweden would not have that choice. You don't ask an 11-year child, do you want to stay with your father or mother in Sweden? But I think, for instance, Nader, he lied. Yes, he had heard that she was pregnant. But the reason he lied is that he never thought he was the reason for her miscarriage. And actually, she is very immoral. She knew that she had been hit by a car. She had gone to the reason she tied up the old man was to go to the doctor and see the injuries from that car accident. So she knew all the time that she was manipulating the whole situation to gain something. So she's very unmoral in the way I think of moral. And no one take up that perspective. Everyone else was morally behaving, but she was lying from the beginning, and that was very rude.
But she didn't lie at the end.
And I just wanted to mention some point about the children, because I have forgot to tell you that the right of the stay with the mother and father is when you are elder, so you can have decide before 18 also you can. But the one of the big problem is that the head of the family is father. So it means that, for example, if mother wanted to goes to abroad with her children, she has to have a permission from his father. Okay,
It's the
so
same thing. Basically, only there it's more the father's choice, and here it's the court who says that they have to stay with the father. And this second about the morale, would you like to respond it before we have another one who wants to talk?
oh yes, yeah, I'm just I agree with it.
You agree with it?
Yeah.
She's the immoral one.
Yes, both of them. I think this is some, it's some kind of mix. It's not just to go directly on something. I think that is some complicated when you are living in a complicated situation. So you have so much different things that you have to put it together, and then you never know this time is because of moral, because of not. It's something like that. I'm just.
She needed the money for her husband, who obviously hadn't, was a bit, she's saying that he was depressed, he was hitting himself, he was in prison and out of prison, and owed people money. So she was in a desperate situation too. Speaking of morale, is it wrong to steal something if you're starving? Or, just a thought. Yes.
I want to add on to the first comment here about communication between the people, because I don't see it as a lack of communication, but a lack of direct communication. And because the way I see it, almost every conflict which was in different situations and solved in different ways in different situations was always with a third part. It was in the family. It was always someone else who had some comment on what happened and could say their point of view, and also in the court and in all the conflicts in the movie. So no direct communication between the two that the conflict really bothered. So I think about that. That means like a lack, or maybe vad säger man? Brus, liksom. Something that makes the communication a bit harder. And also the way the children had to look and hear and never really participate, just look from the outside. And the first man here also said that hopefully that children will learn something from it. And I have a bit more pessimistic point of view there, because the old child rearing saying is that children don't do as you say, they do as you do. So maybe you have a comment on that one.
Yeah, yes, as you mentioned, and our friends, the lack of communication, I don't know is that you mean that. I just say that the lack of the lack of real what you say right. I just give an example for you. after the revolution in Iran, so the Islamic revolution, and then we had to have two kind of life. You could go out inside of your house and you could be free, but when you wanted to go out, you should cover yourself. You have to obey many rules, and then you have to lie all the time because you couldn't be yourself. So this kind of life, these two separate life, inside and outside life, it makes so much influence on your mind, as your thinking, on your behavior of life. So sometimes you say something, but you do another things. You say something in a family, but you go and to the court say another things. And you know that where you should say lie. And then this is the behavior of life, that this kind of lie. That is a kind of a style of life. And if you wanted to be honest, you are very silly. You're crazy if you don't think about that. So you have to learn how you handle these two kind of life. And it's very dangerous when you started from the beginning as a student or in the kindergarten and everything. You will learn more and more, and then you see different life. And then you learn that how you should manage with this kind of life. So I think this kind of communication is the weak communication, not the lack of the communication.
One quick final question.
Just a comment. I think also, if we go back to the film, that this eldest daughter see how much problems all the lies causes. So that's why I think she will not do as what he has said. It hurts so much what happened in the situation. So I hope she will make another choice. That's why I'm optimistic.
Yeah, let's hope so. And there was time for another.
I'm listening, and I'm listening to two sides. One side is the culture part, and the other side is the human part, the one that is about the communication between people, and between adults and children, and between generations during a lot of different circumstances. I think that the genius part with this film is that you have, in this film, this is caught something that is very general. It doesn't matter where you go, in which country you go, in which culture you go. It touches you because it goes through everything. It goes through the culture code, and it gets close to you as a human being. And that's the message, I think, and that's the big thing with this film, and I think that's really why it touches so many people, and why it got this prize also.
Yeah. Yes, important is that most of the things, it is very universal, yeah? It just exists in any cultural and in every...
I can see many different parallels in other cultures also.
All right, it's time for us to end this seminar, and I would like to thank Parvin and Tomas and the audience.
Didn't we have a last word?
A last word?
No, I just...
Why are you going to...
10 seconds. I wonder about...
you will have your last word.
The older man, I think he's a symbol for something. The burden of the older man.
And he's the one who forces the springing life and kills it.
No, you destroy my metaphor, though.
Sorry. That's because you speak too much, so get to the point, quickly.
No, it's actually a question. The older man, the silent man, he is a emotional character that gets into my mind and also my emotional system. How to deal with an Alzheimer father like that.
Yeah. Does it symbolize the old country? Do you see it that way?
I saw the old man as a memory that we forget.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
we have to remind ourselves and to know what's happened to us in the past.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Would you like to say anything else?
No, I talk so much.
Yeah, you talk so much already. There will be more time to talk before dinner. So, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.